Hi everyone, so to jump right into it, if you clicked on this video, it probably means that you've been having a hard time getting over people. There's a lot of ways that people leave our lives, but today we're going to be focusing on getting over an ex. Now, as someone who already really struggles with change in my life, getting over my ex was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Because no matter what your own relationship was, there was at least a part of you that thought about spending the rest of your life with this person. And after a separation, that part of you, big or small, has a nasty tendency to get really loud and confused, which can result in really stupid things like trying to get back with your ex, looking for random people to hook up with, in bad cases substance abuse, all sorts of destructive decisions. However, it can also lead you to some good places. For instance, here you are watching this video. Odds are you deliberately searched for a video about getting over your ex, or this came up in your recommendations, in which just ignore that. You want to do it, you just don't know how, and while I don't want to say this video is going to give you the exact answers to your problems, what I am promising you is that I'm going to tell you everything I did that helped me get over my breakup funk. This isn't a one-size-fits-all issue. Everyone's going to have things that they do and don't do that work for them. But hopefully what I have for you, the viewer, is enough to help you. One of the most important things you can do is turn to the people closest to you for help. Like, I know it sounds like such an obvious thing, but it needs to be said because it's something that people are so afraid of doing. You've had a breakup and you know that you're in a low point in your life. To a lot of people, maybe even you watching right now, you don't want to be seen as even lower than you already feel. One of the worst things that goes down in our little modern internet time we live in is how people will joke about others going through a breakup or that they've just gotten dumped. The phrase down bad ring a bell, and it's so horrible how people take such difficult things so lightly. It really isn't right at all. I'm not sure what all the different reasons could be for wanting to avoid opening up to people are, but at this point you need a solution, not to listen to any more fear. Your own fear is what led you to this video. It's now on you whether or not you're going to keep being afraid of what people are going to think about you, or if you're going to start expressing and processing that pain. Try talking to your parents, no matter how old you are, your closest friends, because you know the boys are always going to have your back. If you have the ability to, then talk to a therapist. It's not the 50s anymore. You're not insane for talking to a therapist about your problems. Obviously, not everyone has the option to get into a therapist, and if you can't, then you should try and substitute it with other people in your life. This part's specifically for the people that feel like they don't have anyone to talk to now that their partner's gone. I was in an incredibly toxic relationship. My ex forced and manipulated me into cutting almost all contact with most of my friends, to the point where I really only had a total of like 3 friends. One of the things I did was reach out to a bunch of my old friends that I used to talk to before my ex made me cut contact. Some of them I hadn't talked to in years, and a whole ton of them were really happy to talk to me again. I'm 100% positive that if you did the same thing and reached out to people you haven't seen in a while for whatever reason, you'll end up with a few of them that are happy to have you back. My closest friends now are people that before a few months ago I hadn't seen in years. Plus, it gives you something much better to stress about. Yes, stress in a lot of these examples I'm going to give you are going to be your friend. Stressing about reaching out to one of your friends or someone you haven't seen in a while is a much better thing to worry about than worrying about your life without your old partner. Worrying is something we can't avoid, so you might as well worry about something useful that won't hold you back. When you finally get to the point where you're talking to people about how you feel, don't hold back. I mean, make sure the person that you're talking to is okay with you just letting it all out, but once you're there, don't save details, let it all out, because the people that care about you are going to be interested in you and your well-being. Be yourself, be honest, laugh at the stupid parts, be upset at the parts that hurt you. Once you get to that safe space, you're going to be able to process things, hear feedback, have an active listener, someone to console you. Your friends and family are going to be your rock here, and you need to lean on them. Another one of the most important things I did was give myself goals. Things to do and achieve. One of the hardest things you'll have to do early on is just find a reason to just really keep being a person. You need to give yourself a reason to wake up in the morning. Something I see a whole ton of, especially in the fitness community, is trying to be a person that'll make your ex regret breaking up with you. Do not do that. Well, don't become a better person to make your ex regret leaving you. As someone who subscribed to the whole ideology of, I'm gonna make her regret leaving me because I'm gonna be the guy of her dreams and she's not gonna be able to have me then, that ends up leading to a lot of anger, and I am still paying the price for it because I'm still not fully in control of my own anger towards my breakup. Anger is either something you're already dealing with or will be dealing with soon, but more more on that later. Now that you're alone, it's time to make something of yourself. If you've got no one besides yourself, then you need to be the best possible version of you. So how about doing all that? So how do you go about doing that? Well, that's a very personal question. For some people, it's making a lot of money. For some, it's having lots of friends, being in great physical shape. Some people lose their minds and drop out of college to start a YouTube channel with no idea and if it'll work out or not. That's right, this whole channel started out as a coping mechanism. Making something of yourself is personal, so I can't give you the exact answers you need. But setting a goal, realistic or unrealistic, gives you a motivator. Something to get out of bed in the morning for because you have something you want to do. Seriously, this is one of the most important things you can do. Finding your own calling and purpose in the world will help you break free of those thoughts of life that you used to have with your ex. It breeds individualism. You build yourself up because you want to be the best you. Remember that you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. Just do you and do your best at it. And while I can't tell you exactly what to do, what I can tell you to do is go out and experiment. For example, before my breakup, I wasn't super into going to the gym. Fast forward like 6 months and I've lost like 30 to 40 pounds. And now I'm in the best shape of my life and getting better. All because I tried something new. And on the subject of exercise, wasn't that such a smooth transition? You need to get some exercise. Does not matter what your body size is, what you're doing, just get some exercise. Not even taking into account what it does for your body, it's so good for your head. Without getting super sciencey and psychological, it helps your brain process the shit going on. It gives you all the happy chemicals you need. It gives you something else to focus on. And you know, it is a little good for your body too. Whether it's weightlifting or just walking, forcing yourself to get some exercise is super important, and I guarantee no matter who you are, over time it will 100% help you. Now, anger. Probably one of the hardest things to get through when it comes to a breakup. At least that's how it's been for me. On top of everything you should now be doing that we've already talked about, you need to build what's called neuroplasticity. What that is essentially the brain's ability to change the way it thinks. And what I'm about to tell you can work in whatever stage you're in. But for me, it's helped most with my anger. So to build neuroplasticity, whenever you get a thought about your ex, in this situation, something that pisses you off, you need to force yourself to think about something else. Over time, this strengthens your brain into not thinking about that subject. What's helped me a whole ton is saying like a little phrase for yourself, something small that you can say over and over again until your brain gets off the subject of your ex. And for the most part, I think this really helps. It brings you back to reality to where you can focus on what's going on around you. We've gone over a ton of stuff that you should do, so let's go into some things that you should avoid at all costs. Number 1, self-loathing. Whether you're the one who got dumped or called it off, it's over now, and it's time to get going on being a better person, which isn't something you're going to do sitting around feeling bad about yourself in the situation. Don't even tell yourself it's okay to mope around in the beginning stages. You need to stop a bad habit before it starts. Save your future self the problems and start pushing through today. Even on days where you truly believe you can't do it and you just need to lay down, do something small those days. Take a walk, call a friend, try something new. There shouldn't be a day where you're not trying to make progress. Not every day can or will be a day where you make big progress in being happy again, but every day can at least be a small step. This one might be a little obvious to some people, but you know, everyone's different. Drug use to deal with breakups and feelings, huffing, snorting, drinking, popping, or God forbid, injecting any form of copium is barely gonna make you feel better in the short term. It's just such a stupid and self-destructive band-aid over a bullet hole solution. Like, literally, there are better instant gratification things you can do. Throw your shoes on, start running, use physical activity to force your brain onto something else. You'll be doing better in 20 minutes tops. No matter who you are or what you've done, you are above drug use to cope. Start thinking now and you'll have a much deeper hole to dig yourself out of. And by all means, do not go back to your ex under any circumstances. Do not go back. No, you cannot fix them, nor is it your job to. Look, if you wholeheartedly believe that your ex was the one, and you pause right there, I'm not about to tell you to trust your gut and go back to him, because your gut feeling is a fucking mess right now, and you should not be trusting it yet. I'm a firm believer in the idea that there is one person for everyone, but if it didn't work out for you two, and you're now broken up, then that's all the proof you need that the person you thought was it just isn't actually the one for you. It's on you to look at the situation for what it is. The relationship you once had is hopeless now, but you're not hopeless. You can do anything now. You've got total freedom. It's up to you to do the right thing with it. I spent 4 years with someone who dumped me once before. Do you want to end up taking a fat L like that? No, you don't. It sucks. Your ex is in the past. Keep them there. One thing that I read while doing a little research for this video is that everyone wants to know the golden number for how long it'll take to get over a breakup. Us humans love putting numbers on things and think once we get to a certain number, everything will be all better. When the fuck does that ever work? Like, actually, in any situation. There's something I read called the 6-month rule that states that for every year of a relationship you are in, it takes 6 months to recover from 1 year. So if you were in a 2-year relationship, it would take 1 year to recover from that. And that sounds like complete bullshit to me. You can't try and find an average for human experiences. We don't work like that. You'll be over an ex when you're over them, and you'll get over them as long as you put in the consistent work to get over them. Don't put time goals on stuff like this. It happens when it happens, and there's no way to change that. If you want to change how long it takes to be over your ex, then get out of bed and get back in the world. Whether you do it slowly or quickly, you're in control of your own destiny. And that destiny is with someone better than the person you're no longer with. Now, for a little closing motivation, you might hear this a lot, or maybe this is your first time, who knows? But it really does get better. It really does, I promise you. For me, it felt like a light switch going off. The thoughts didn't disappear, but they didn't hurt anymore, just one day totally out of the blue. No guarantees that that's what it's going to be like for you, but the point is that one day you will end up at the point where the thoughts don't hurt anymore. Then you'll end up to the point where you're not angry anymore. Then one day you'll end up with someone better. Don't give up on love because of one stupid person. There's a whole world out there outside of that one person you thought was the one. There's one thing I didn't mention you could do yet. I was saving this for the end. You can write your feelings out. It helps a lot. This video is just as much a form of therapy for me as it is for you. We are all in this together. None of us are alone here. If you want to do a little bit of trauma dumping in the comments, you're welcome to. I don't mind. Just be respectful. And a little homework assignment from me to you. Not mandatory, but I would love to see the growth of those of you who choose to participate. If you're feeling yucky over an ex right now, drop a comment saying you're feeling yucky. Then save the link to this video in your notes app. In a few months or so, come back, find your comment, and let me know how you're doing. Alright, that's it from me. God bless you all and have a great day.